about two people in love. If you're against gay marriage because you're a Christian, or even if you're some other religion that's opposed to that, fine. But argue based on those things. Don't try to argue based on their thing. Like, no, I never said I was against people in love. I said I was against gay marriage. If you are, that's what the liberals do. So rather than playing into their premises, you don't have to do that. That's how Trump won, because he doesn't address the liberals' arguments, how they frame them to be. He goes out and he actually talks about what the liberals have actually done. He talks about what he believes. He doesn't try to justify his morality to liberals. So whenever they say, why do you need an AR-15? Why do you want these death machines that kill kids? Don't you know that guns are capable of killing kids? Don't you understand that? The answer is not, look, I understand that, and I think that we really need to address the dead kid problem in the United States, and we need to blah, 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 blah. You stop doing that. Say, yes, I own guns in case I need to kill people. Now, you can't just kill anybody, but you also don't have to tell that to liberals. That's the point. That's the point of what I'm saying. You just tell the liberals, I own guns in case I need to defend myself in my home, or in case a tyrannical government arises in the United States and we need to defend ourselves against it. And then you leave it at that. You don't tell them, you don't continue discussing with them. Whenever they bring up the transgender debate, whenever they say that kids at the age of 7 should be able to decide to have surgeries to change their gender, you shouldn't try and capitulate to their morality about how, oh, they're stuck in the wrong body and blah, 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 blah. You just say, no, it's weird and it's stupid to allow kids to make the decision to permanently change their body's biology, and especially to allow them to have surgeries to do so. So you go into it and you tell them how it is, and you don't try to do it anymore. That's how Trump won. He didn't capitulate to their morality. He didn't do any of that stuff. So I talked about the censorship a lot. Once again, the left is coming at us full force with their censorship. YouTube and Google pulling, they're deleting entire channels. I'm going to get into that with Dr. Corsi later, because his channel has been taken down. Ashton Witty's had multiple videos taken down. The Gateway Pundit has multiple. Because it's already here for us. But that's what we need you to understand, is that it's here for us, but it's not going to stop there. It's going to keep going and keep going and keep going. Eventually, it's not going to be, so-called fringe groups like InfoWars, even though we're not fringe. It's not so-called far-right groups. There's nothing far-right about InfoWars, but still, it's not going to be only far-right groups in their classification. Eventually, they're going to go after anybody
just setting up, guys. Hang on.
Line. So super male and super female vitality are 50% off. The real red pill is 50% off. Biome defense is 50% off. Super male vitality, I use that every day. It's excellent. It's great for promoting healthy testosterone level in men of all ages. True Whey protein also 50% off. This is great for pre and post workout shakes. It's good for building muscle mass. It's actually really important that you get a healthy amount of protein before you work out. Other InfoWars Live selected products are for 40% off. Clearance apparel, gets yourself some InfoWars gear, shirts, hats, anything of the sort, for 80% off for select clearance apparel. And then also the Aegis Armor Backpack insert for 20% off. This is actually a really good, timely thing with all this talk about school shootings and how dangerous the world is today. You can get a backpack insert. It slips into your backpack. It's real thin. It's just Kevlar. I think we also do have some hard plates that you can buy too, but the backpack insert, I believe it's just Kevlar if the crew is able to find it. I think it's just Kevlar, which will protect you against a lot of small rounds. So You can stick it in your backpack, and then if anything happens, you can put it in a go bag. So if it's in the back of your vehicle or what have you, you can grab it and go. Or if you're out in public and you have your backpack on you, you can use it to defend yourself or to protect yourself at least. Hopefully in your backpack you have a concealed weapon, a licensed concealed weapon, so that you can also defend yourself and not
It's
just,
up on 2 channels, folks.
Stop the bullets when they come your way.
Feel free to sub and like.
So, let's talk a little bit about the left.
Greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
In where was it? I think it was in Corsicana, Texas. They recently removed.
Let's kill some more demons.
Just a statue in a park, like a children's park in Corsicana, Texas, and it was removed for racial insensitivity. It was removed. Luckily, now they're putting it back because of the public backlash. But there's nothing about this that is racially insensitive. It's just a cage with a gorilla in it. And some groups lose their minds saying that it's racially insensitive. I don't know what they could possibly be insinuating. I don't even know what they could be thinking when they say that a gorilla in a cage is racially insensitive. I don't know, but there's nothing about it. It's the same as when CNN published a title saying Trump wants the GOP to court black voters and then slams felons' voter rights because CNN thinks that being a felon is primarily a black problem in the United States. I just think it's really interesting. Because we can talk all day long about how, the left are the real racists, the Democrats are the real racists, Jim Crow, blah, blah, blah. It's fine, but I don't really even care about that stuff. It's kind of stupid to me. Honestly, what I'm more worried about is why...
I take it the chat boxes are working?
Because
Someone type something?
the Democrats don't care about minorities, but it's just so blatantly obvious that they see them a certain way. And then they want to slam us for hating immigrants, hating blah, 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 all these other lies that they've made up. And for some reason, this goes back to what I was talking about how to argue with liberals. You need to actually call them out for what they do, not just defend yourself. Don't be on the defensive all the time. Why are they allowed to equate felons' voter rights to black issues in the U.S.? And we're over here defending ourselves, saying we don't actually hate Mexicans.
That's it.
Not all
Cheers,
Mexicans
Donna.
are rapists. We're only talking about illegal immigrants. We know, we know that we're talking about illegal immigrants when we say that. Why are we trying to justify to the left-wing media?
Yeah, I've played on Twitch. Coop got banned.
Mexicans are just dislike illegal immigrants. Why do we have to justify
He shut me down.
Day in and day out, we see the left use minorities as their little puppets, their little voting thing, and it's so insane. The only reason that they care about Mexican immigrants is because they're a huge voting bloc for them. They don't actually. There's no reason. There's no rational argument to say that we should have open borders or that everybody has a right to come here, because no, not everybody has a right to come here. I actually would say nobody has.
The road to hell is paved by Argent Energy.
You have all the rights that the Constitution affords anybody, but there's no. I
Have
can't
some
think of a
wrenches,
single argument
guys.
for open borders immigration, whether it's illegal or otherwise. Because, for example, I was on UT campus yesterday, and I did a report that I'm going to play here in a few minutes. expect them to know what it is to be an American. You can't expect them to know how our government works.
This
And
is
that's
where I
the
got
thing,
stuck
you can't
last night. This is.
They need to know how the government works. They need to know how American society operates because they have a stake in voting. They can vote.
The road to hell is paved by Argent Energy.
The American government. Look in Canada, for example. Americans call us the melting pot. We call ourselves the melting pot. That's not how it used to be.
The road to hell is paved by Argent
Hey, Harmony.
Costa tried to get Stephen Miller on, but he got by Stephen Miller after Miller asked him about the Statue of Liberty, law of the land. So somewhere along the lines, it became the
The road to hell is paved by Argent.
people that are already here to assimilate. So I think conservatives, rather than justifying, oh no, we don't hate Mexicans. Of course we don't hate Mexicans. Of course, it's stupid for us to justify that we don't hate Mexicans. Nobody in America, like there might be like
the road to hell is paved.
Life's cutting-edge
Yeah.
formula only brings
Harmony,
you the
have a
highest
wrench.
quality, organic, and clinically studied ingredients. Cheap prebiotic fibers are used up only at the beginning of the colon, but
Save game, that's the thing. There is no option to save game. No F6, no F5. Nothing. You gotta wait for the checkpoints. Love that chainsaw. Anything else to pick up down here?
Support, which again is all documented with these ingredients, Bodies is a true 360 win. It can help you again with all those issues, including inflammation support.
It is pretty cool. Fair play.
Support. It's available right now at just $29.95. You had a big, fat, chunky bottle. It's a 60-day supply. It is Bodies. It is $29.95. Massive 50% off discount, and it's available right now at InfoWars store.
Whoa.
Influenced by advertisers telling us what to do. We're not influenced by left-wing boycott campaigns trying to sabotage our financial basis, which other media networks are, prone to because they don't have their own in-house products. We do, which means we're
and sequences some viewers may find disturbing.
Shit, a brick.
Please, listen. If you don't, if you won't, if you fail to understand, then the same incredible terror that's menacing me will strike at you! The function of all life is
The good thing is about that is that that room is a checkpoint, so if I die, I should respawn there. Should. Almost 9.
To talk about censorship, and then Gerald Celente to talk about the markets. Now, during the break, I was talking to Matt behind the scenes.
I think that's the general idea of the challenge. They give you 1 health. So if you get touched by these things,
I think, is to go deeper into it.
It's fucking hard.
Why do conservative? And I know that a lot of these fours audience isn't necessarily conservative. It is more centered around humanism. It's more secular. It's not as in tune with the idea. Themselves and prosper, and basically your rights end where somebody else's begin. And with
Damn it.
What is a right? There's not really rights necessarily.
I didn't want to exit there.
Then you say, okay, well, maybe there's just a way to behave. You can use Immanuel Kant, his categorical imperative for ethics, which is basically that the way you should behave, the ethical way to behave, is what is preferable. Society will function smoothly. So basically, don't do things that if everybody else did would be bad for everybody. If everybody lied, you know, maybe lying for you right now might be good, but if everybody lied, society wouldn't function.
So close.
It looks like are liberals, which leaves about 8% conservative atheists, which is an interesting category, I think. But
nowhere near. Bollocks. Ah, fuck it. Let's just continue. Bad enough of that.
Was trying to, he was like a victorious declaration of God's death, but that's not true. That's not true. He was saying we've taken the foundation away from Western civilization by killing God, and now we're going to find out what happens. He predicted in the 1800s, before communism rose in Russia, he predicted that millions of people were going to die under
Where do I go? Tell me I gotta get over there.
like I had to have the restraint not to push her over because we're held to a different standard. But that's fine. We're adults. Unlike them, we can handle that kind of stuff. But yeah, the police were great. Who knows if they'll actually find them because they were.
bitch.
If I'm not mistaken, the SPLC is effectively releasing YouTube. I believe that you wrote that they're the thought police for YouTube. But on their hate watch, they have David Horowitz, a conservative Jew. He's not, I don't see how he's a hateful person. They have Mike Cernovich. Mike Cernovich doesn't say anything hateful in any way. Pretty conservative for the most part. He's all new. He's not all right. He's not far right at all. He's libertarian. As most of the people here in Infowars. So the fact that they're bringing the SPLC, like you said there, I mean, the SPLC is clearly a hate group in their own right. What do you see? Because YouTube has come out and they've said, oh, it looks like we've accidentally eliminated some conservative accounts, but to my knowledge, they haven't reinstated any of them. Do you see YouTube reversing any of this, or do you see signs that they're not going to?
No, it was a mistake. I mean, the intent, first of all, I got into the hard line, and YouTube is gone. Eric for Hillary Clinton,
Welcome to the UAC, opening the gates of hell with the key to the future.
17 becomes scale of his assets. A lot of people have gone into corruption.
This is not the end! It's only the beginning!
Category 3 dimensional dance in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What was that?
Push on their part, or is this because I know in a couple of your articles you mentioned that it
Oh,
seems like
shit.
they might be working for the CIA.
I think I've just been
Which would
transported to
lead
hell.
Another question that a lot of people would ask, because a lot of people, like, you know, conservative Ben Shapiro types, they want to say that what you might want to attribute to malice should be attributed to stupidity.
The hell
But I
portal
don't think that's true.
is
So
now
could you
open back
explain
on
what
Mars.
interest
Lost in the
Google
hell
and YouTube
dimension, you are
have in
unable to stop the
cooperating with
demons from
CIA
absorbing
and
our
other government
world.
agencies
Kill
to
everything
curtail
you
free
see
speech of
and find a
conservatives on
way
the
back
internet?
to Mars.
Well, first of all, the Google was largely funded by the CIA.
No fucking
Eric
problem.
Schmidt's a CIA creation. It's a spook. Eric Schmidt thinks spook. Every click you make, the Sting song, goes immediately. Every click you
Before we
make
tackle that,
goes immediately to the
I need
NSA
toilet
of the
break,
CIA.
and I'm
Eric
out of
Schmidt
coffee.
had that deal with the
So I'll be
devil
right
from
back.
day one. And then the second thing Eric Schmidt did is he offered to give all this data
Enjoy the
to
symbolism.
campaign, not to Barack Obama.
Appears to be lots
So
of it.
Google is a CIA operation. Your data is being observed, censored, and reported, whether you know it or not.
Okay. And so I guess that would kind of this argument because a lot of people, again, the types that want to say that the free market should be left to its own devices, but it should be noted that that Google and YouTube are not private companies in that they do receive this money from the CIA, the NSA, or other government agencies that we may not be aware of. I don't think that a lot of people acknowledge that or are even aware of it, because they push for these laws like net neutrality, which you also mentioned it, and that's something I want to see, because a lot of people don't understand what it is. Most people don't know what net neutrality is. They take it at face value. So here in a minute, if we could go into what net neutrality is, what the Internet Bill of Rights is that you've been talking about, I think that would be great. But so just so I understand it right, Eric Schmidt is a CIA, is a creation of the CIA, also to use YouTube and Google to send data back to the government. So is it a circular thing? Is that what am I understanding it correctly?
Yeah, the government, the NSA is basically collecting data in all conversations in the United States, whether by electronic means, telephone, read Google, read Hillary supporting Eric Schmidt, who aligned with Hillary, wanted to be her top advisor, outside advisor, gave her all the data from Google to do her micro-targeting. Today, the Soros-supported hard left is intolerant. To the gulags. Had Hillary won these days, and we won them first among the Trump is planning to, with Google, and I'm going to do everything I can to support Donald Trump in this effort, put Google under antitrust action, break it up, examine Eric Schmidt's role with the Fusion GPS in criminal violations in the Clinton campaign and FEC financing. I mean, bring it on. Doesn't bother me. I was only on Google for 3 weeks posting on QAnon. I got so scared they had to cancel my account and
I want
money.
I want to get into QAnon because here in a few minutes, I'd like to, like I was saying a minute ago, I'd like to get into net neutrality, Internet Bill of Rights, and the FTC and everything. But first, so you describe briefly, because I think that for a lot of people it's so, with the intelligence that QAnon has been putting out there, for the audience, describe what you were saying, what you were spreading, the information you were spreading about QAnon that was so dangerous that YouTube had to cut you off the site completely.
Well, QAnon, I think it's all intelligence, and what he pointed out was that Eric Schmidt was involved in SpaceX, was giving technology, missile technology, that was involved in this campaign financing scheme. Eric Schmidt, think twice. You've got a federal grant of broadband space. You want to preserve that. We want an Internet Bill of Rights. We don't want net neutrality, Soros rules, which meant you were free to censor. Oh, I'm a private organization. I can, well, great. You're a private organization. You get zero bandwidth. Broadband cancel. If you want that, you're going to have to comply with the Internet Bill of Rights and the freedoms we have as Americans, which include not arbitrary censorship, not arbitrary exclusion from your little privileged channel of leftists. You know, you want to do a cooking show, fine. Eric will be happy to have you. Come here. This is YouTube. You know, everybody welcome. 1 billion viewers, and then suddenly, oh, I'm sorry, conservatives not allowed to apply, especially before the 2018 midterms. We're going to get all the conservatives out of here so that we can dominate this channel, which we've created, Eric Schmidt, in order to propagate a hard left communist agenda. By the way, Eric Schmidt, why don't you think you're going to be one of the first of the useful idiots to go to the gulag? Who's going to protect you? The communists turn on you. I mean, this intolerant, anti-First Amendment attitude of YouTube has got to stop, and it's going to be stopped. First of all, net neutrality was repealed. Net neutrality did not apply to the internet giants. It did not apply to Google. Didn't apply to Facebook. Didn't apply to Twitter. Didn't apply to YouTube. It only applied to internet service providers like AT&T and Verizon. Well, you know, big deal. They had to get your censored content on an equal basis as if it had legitimacy. Give me a break. I want to let you know, Eric Schmidt, right now, if you're listening, if you're not, let your minions, let your SPLC minions communicate the message to you. You chose how to fight. You want to fight? Fine. You know, you want to fight against the First Amendment, against the freedoms Americans have traditionally enjoyed, against due process. You got some little jerkhead who's unidentified pulling my plug this afternoon without explaining why, messing up my Google account. You know, you can take this whole Google thing and we'll throw it in the Potomac River. I'm happy to pursue this all the way through FTC. Eric Schmidt, you wanted an enemy. You just chose one out. And I'm happy to duke it out with you, Eric Schmidt, in every court in this law, in this land, if we have to do it. And we're going to proceed with examining your ability to have this little stupid billion-dollar franchise and run it with your little left-wing political agenda supporting communist ideology and intolerant expression of free speech. You want to decide that conservatives can't be on your site. You know, it's okay if terrorists are on your site. It's okay if people say intolerant things against Donald Trump, hate Donald Trump, threaten Donald Trump. You don't exclude them. Let's have a thorough examination of who you exclude and who you don't exclude. Why do you pick the SPLC to be your arbiters? I'm happy to go round for round on you, inch to inch. Let's line it up and examine it. Because I think you're anti-American. I think you're anti-First American. I think you're intolerant. And I think you're a communist leftist.
I think it's particularly interesting that because, you know, a lot of times when you're hearing about the Fusion GPS stuff and you hear Eric Schmidt, and then you hear about the censorship and you hear Eric Schmidt, a lot of times those two don't necessarily connect. But it's interesting how woven together this corruption is, because every time there's some scandal, every time that there's some sort of disgusting swamp business going on, you always see one or two players that were involved in everything else. It's this network of disgusting corruption, this anti-American, communist, leftist garbage. So that makes sense why Eric Schmidt would want to shut down people exposing his behavior. What exactly? Because I don't think that a lot of people really understand what net neutrality is. I know that it regulates ISPs. It says that you can't discriminate. The thing is, you can tell what it's about by who supports it, because people all over Reddit. Reddit's very left wing.
Alright.
Google, YouTube, they're all backing it. So could it really be that good?
And net neutrality the internet service providers, which were AT&T, Verizon, Comcast, had to carry every provider on an equal basis. Couldn't charge specially, couldn't disadvantage, etc.
I'll refill my
providers
big
not
tank.
required to be net neutral. They could censor. Google could eliminate you because you dared to support President Trump, which Eric Schmidt has to be a crime. Just like you saw on the campuses, where they were intolerant with you and InfoWars being there. The campuses are communist, they're leftists, they're going to end dominated by socialist ideology. Socialist ideology is not tolerant of free speech. It doesn't want debate. They want to cast you as a hater, and they want to throw you in the gulag forever. Hillary Clinton had won. I mean, Hillary Clinton didn't win. At least it's banned from YouTube. But I'm not going to prison for a hate crime. You can pick another channel and continue on. But Eric Schmidt would have you condemned to the gulag. His supporters in the hard left. So we got here Eric Schmidt smiling. Hillary Clinton in the back gave all the gulag data. Google.
This place looks ugly as hell. Oh wait, it is hell.
And the NSA and the CIA. Eric Schmidt is CIA up and down, in and out. Eric Schmidt is a spook.
Oh, I love that flavor.
By the CIA,
Right.
an intelligence operative. Like soldiers.
Let's kill some more lieutenants.
You've got every
Where are you?
reported to the NSA, profiled
is here.
He is here. No pickups, guys? No pickups? What's going on? It's amazing how there's ammo out here in hell.
We'll set up a portal device at the tomb. Use the light poles to mark our path.
Interesting. Very interesting. Right, this is a checkpoint. Ooh, what's this? Get this Oh, fuck me.
Is taking place by Google before the 2018
Nice gun, but fucking hell.
to get all the conservatives supporting Donald Trump off the internet.
Yeah, it looks that way, Coop.
In order to have a conservative message
Left
blocked
alt.
under the idea that one of the
Quickly
reasons
view
Donald
current
Trump won was because
objectives.
conservatives like me on the internet supported him. So this is a conscious purge by
Break here in just a moment. And on the other side, briefly, I want to hear your take
supports, bone support, joint support, flexibility support, all the benefits.
Oh yes, new toy done, new toy. Cool.
This program contains language and sequences some viewers may find disturbing.
The nation and all of our freedoms were held by a thread, and the military apparatus of this country is about to be handed over to scum who are beholden to scum. Russian scum.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Resistance. That looks going there. Get out, what's that? Graphics are pretty good though. Who would have thought there'd be dead trees in hell?
Lower the transgender age despite danger. So that's just a little article headline that I'll show you what happens when you argue with the left, like Mitt Romney and John McCain. You lose and you end up with 4-year-old trannies. So that's that. So Dr. Corsi, to summarize what we've been
Scared to
talking
touch
about,
that
I wanted to get your
fucking
opinion on what
We'll have one of them.
on what we can do as libertarians or conservatives or just anti-communists on how we can fight back against the censorship coming from the government and from the media.
In the first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened, one stood, burned by the embers of Armageddon, his soul blistered by the fires of hell, and tainted beyond ascension. He chose the path of perpetual torment. In his ravenous hatred, he found no peace, and with boiling blood,
that's the first thing I wanted to get your.
Well, on Monday mornings, it had nothing to do with aluminum and steel and towers. Because we were writing about this for the first magazine. Magazine was right here. Trent's Journal. Winter
Check that out. Revenant model Astro guy. Fancy finding a toy around here. Anyone else want some? Motherfuckers. Fucking liberal demons.
The majority of the money from the taxpayers is coming back into stock markets. And what that means is that it's going to generate more growth in the markets, but it's artificial to a level. Again,
Wow.
because of the price-earnings ratios being at all-time highs and the over-leverage with the ETFs.
I think it's time for some weapons upgrades.
Plans that they have where the markets don't really have the true value of the investment. So, we believe the Trump rally has peaked. That doesn't mean it's going to crash. We believe it's going to go into at least a 10% correction, which it did do earlier in February, but now it's back out of it. We see it moving back into it. What's going to bring the market down into a crash level is a wild card event. Just like this, what happened today, them using something that wasn't really the fact that made it happen, as that being the excuse with the tariffs. So it could be an outbreak of war that intensifies in Syria and Turkey and Israel and Saudi Arabia and Lebanon. Something like that, because all of the world equity markets have been boosted by unprecedented cheap money and quantitative easing, this negative interest rates and buying back bonds. You can't make this stuff up. In Japan, they have, you buy a bond, a 10-year bond, you know, because you're a nice guy, after you buy the bond in 10 years, I'll give you back less than you paid for it. We're going to call it negative yields. I mean, they're making this stuff up just to keep the markets going. The government actually buys back the bonds. People aren't buying them, of course. So now, who will it hurt? The high interest rates are hurting the people. Like you mentioned that I said 90% of the stocks are owned by 10% of the people. What the people are getting hit with are the high interest rates. So now, for example, here's a story right out of today's Financial Times. And again, current events form future trends. U.S. consumers struggle to repay credit card debt. More Americans are falling behind on their mortgages as well, for which problematic debt levels rose 5.2%. And going on to the credit card debt, the figures published by the FDIC add to concerns that Americans, the middle class, is relying on credit cards to get by. So, you got the numbers right here. They can't pay it back. Overdue U.S. credit card debt has reached a 7-year high. That's what the concern is, not the markets. The people are overstretched. There's been no recovery for the average person. You look at the numbers, 78% of the people are living paycheck to paycheck. Median household income is below 1999 levels. If the market crashes, it's not going to make a difference for a lot of people. But if they start raising interest rates really high, oh, by the way, watch the housing market decline too. And there's already a lot of pressure in that as well. And again, take a global view. Look what's going on in China. Already, there are major concerns. The housing prices are starting to slip from the bubble. Manufacturing production is way down, particularly in the middle ranges. So they can't afford right now to have any kind of panic hit the markets because they're so overblown.
So what do you think? I noticed you mentioned war or other catastrophic events that might turn things down. What will they do to prevent something like that, to prevent a panic? Is that what they're doing? Is that why they're propping things up artificially? Is the Federal Reserve doing this? So what are they doing to prevent that panic that would cause everything to come crashing down?
You see, that's why they're trying to raise interest rates, because then they'll have more slack to lower them. Now they can't do that because they've raised interest rates 5 times since 2015. But the interest rates, the Fed rate is still ranging between 1.25% and 1.50%. Now we're talking over a 3-year period, right? Has inflation gone up more than 1.2 or 1.5%? Of course it has. So you're still dealing with basically negative interest rates. That's why they're so anxious to raise interest rates. Because if a panic hits, they've run out of ammunition. Oh, by the way, this is very important. If you want to see the true direction that the markets are going to go, watch gold prices closely. Very interesting. When the market started to tank back in early February, gold disappeared down. Now today, gold is down here's our forecast. When gold breaks over 1400.
Listen to the choir. Minigun.
America First are both anti-globalism, and globalism is one of the keys to world government, world currency, which means world control and world domination of the globalist multinational elite. And you know, that's what it's about. It's because they don't have, they have all the money in the world. They don't need anything. If the markets crash, they're fine. They can print all the money they want. They can get favors. They don't need money. They can print more. If they
Never mind, Donna, you can always rewind.
It's not about bigger companies or bigger cars or bigger businesses, bigger houses. They don't care. They can do all that stuff on their own. It's about control. And that's what, you know, because he mentioned that, he mentioned that the Federal Reserve raising interest rates and everything, what we can see in this draft is to be a major event like war. A war in the Middle East, a war in another third world country, perhaps Asia. And it shows how intertwined the Federal Reserve and the military-industrial complex and all these other national, international institutions are. Everybody is intertwined these days. Everybody, they're all working towards this one goal of global currency. And that is all, that's all
Fucking hell. In this one.
Whatever you say, it's going to go up unedited. So I'm just genuinely.
We're done commenting. That's the official comment.
Well, you didn't really start commenting. You kind of started people like, don't talk to Infowars.
Yeah. Okay.
Right now we're done. It's just the primaries. We're trying to get.
So if I was a campus Republican or whatnot, I would probably be out, actually trying to spread. Huh? What about lizard people? I don't believe in those. Do you?
Well, I think Alex Jones does.
No, he doesn't.
Well, have you seen the show?
Yeah, I watch it every day.
Out of ammo. Fuck's sake.
Other women. Thank you.
It looks like a white woman is infringing on her rights. I'm just having a discussion with her.
I'm done.
Okay, now she's done.
Good afternoon. I'm Jordan Newman reporting live from the West Mall. This just in. Who are you and why are you here?
Who are you?
I just said my name 3 seconds ago.
No, who are you? Oh, okay. He's nobody. That's fine. Who wants to talk?
I'm okay. I'm fine.
Okay. You have a phone. Who wants to talk?
I don't know why you're provoking women of color and talking.
Oh my gosh, I'm provoking women of color by talking to them. Women of color aren't allowed to talk.
Would you vote for Trump? Like, that seems so random. Trump's already in office.
Tempered by the fires of hell, his iron will remains steadfast through the passage that preys upon the weak. For he alone was the Hellwalker, the unchained predator who sought retribution in all quarters, dark and light, fire and ice, in the beginning and the end. And he hunted the slaves of doom with barbarous cruelty, for he passed through the divide as none but demon had before.
Okay. Let's see. Who else is open to talking? Her. She's a woman of color. Who knows? What do you know about Alex Jones?
Dude, I know that he sells super male vitality.
Oh yeah, dude. You should take. Maybe you should, dude.
I think maybe I should.
I think you should.
Yeah.
You should to counter it. You take. Have we entered into in which liberals pull Hispanic people away from white What is the difference? Colored people is racist, but saying people of color is okay. I don't get it. This always happens. I always go for something completely different. And I always get handed a gold mine. A gold mine of liberalism to exploit. It's not like one time I had a kid saying that Trump was siding with Antifa, the white supremacist group. Bizarre thing. So, it's important that I tell you that this marathon broadcast, the Paul Revere, the Operation Paul Revere 2018 censorship from, it's interesting to me. It is through the government, but not the way that you expect government censorship to work. It's basically an unprecedented level of censorship for YouTube, Google, Facebook, all these different giant left-wing, far-left conglomerate organizations trying to push us off their platform because so we don't have these sponsorships, we don't have listeners and viewers to shop at the InfoWars store, which is InfoWarsStore.com. Unprecedented savings, site-wide, 30 to 80% off plus free shipping. Super male and female vitality, 50% off right now, which is just insane. Real red pill, 50% off.
Someone's obviously in the hangout.
50% off True Whey protein. I talked a little bit about protein earlier. It's important to, number one, it's important to stay healthy.
What damage? Damn it.
So let's go ahead and see what they have to see. I haven't seen this video yet, but I like talking about the SPLC. I know a little bit about them, so let's go ahead and go to that video.
Get him. Why does my chat box keep messing?
I see the 1986 weapons ban, and I think to myself, here we are negotiating, trying to dictate on launch.
Just need to pop to the toilet a minute. Be right back.
Are you talking about the ban on automatic weapons?
Yes, the 1986.
That's actually a really good point because what they talk about, the anti-gun activists, they talk about how the founders wrote the Constitution, the Second Amendment with muskets in mind. Oh man, unless it's a Muslim, that's what the founders were thinking. But there's a story, and it's not just a story, like it's multiple occurrences of this. After the Constitution was ratified, there were U.S. merchant ships going up and down the coast, and they were being harassed by pirate ships, what have you. And so they started arming themselves with cannons, as ships typically do. That's the primary defense that a ship has. So they were arming themselves with cannons, and then people were saying, you can't do that. Like, the cannons are for the military. But then the courts came back and they said, no, the Second Amendment protects your right to keep and bear arms, to be so why shouldn't they have the right to own machine guns? I don't know. That's a good thought, though. That's a good thought. So, you said that you had a couple comments. Was there one on the kids on the UT campus, or did you have more about gun control?
Yeah, some kids on campus saying that there was a Muslim ban. And I remember hearing about that through mainstream media, Facebook, all that. And thinking, great, they're actually making a ban. But come to find out, Trump didn't even mention Islam. It was the countries that the terrorists were coming from. And as far as I'm concerned, the death cult of Muhammad paid the end of him. There's nothing less than, to be banned from our, free shores.
Yeah, no, that's also a good point. Go ahead.
I said that they're not compatible with modern society.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's what I've thought of at length, actually, is at what point do we stop recognizing an ideology as a religion, stop recognizing it as a cult, or a dangerous thought process, because there are organizations that recognize as cults, and they don't get religious liberty, and that's whether or not that's right or wrong, that's debatable. But at what point does that happen? Because with Islam, you have honor killings, you have female genital mutilation, there's jihad is a prescription for every Muslim, and that's the people. Mentioned there in a great video that years ago about the myth of the modern Muslim majority. But the truth is that the ones that aren't actually globally, this is a study in America globally, the Muslims of the world are not, if they're not committing the jihad, suicide bombings or acts of war, they are supporting it either in prayer or with donations, whatever. So it's interesting. At what point do we stop recognizing it as a religion and do we recognize it as a dangerous ideology hostile to the American life? I don't know. That's really interesting because that was the reason a lot of
And in his conquest against the blackened souls of the doomed, his prowess was shown. In his crusade, the Seraphim bestowed upon him terrible power and speed, and with his might he crushed the obsidian pillars of the blood temples. He set forth without pity upon the beasts of the 9 circles, unbreakable, incorruptible,
is dead. Shit, no, I'm not been here. Bollocks.
That's actually really interesting, and I like what you said about staying on their platform, because I agree. A lot of people say, oh, we need to jump off Twitter, we need to get on Gab. I do think we should get on Gab. I do think that we should get on. As far as video sites, I've heard about one that's called BitChute. I've heard about there's Vimeo. So there are definitely other outlets and platforms that we can get on that I think we should get on, but as backup for whenever we're kicked off of YouTube, if we ever do as individuals or as companies. But it is important that we stay on their platform, because that's how we're going to reach new people, like you said. And you know, on Infowars.com, we do reach new people, but primarily we're talking to our own audience. We're spreading news to them. We're discussing things on YouTube or Facebook, in which we reach new people. An unimaginable number of people were introduced to Infowars, the
her.
Yeah, no, I think that's an excellent idea. I think that is 100% an excellent idea. Just the fact that it's a network, because like you said, you can play it on your own, but I do really, really like the network idea. So thank you so much. We're going to keep the other callers on the line. We'd like to talk to them here in a minute. We're going to go to a quick break momentarily. Check us out on InfoWarsStore.com. Please support us. Donate if you just want to donate or buy the products. We have excellent deals, 30 to 80% going on a lot of products. For Operation Polar Year 2018, we'll be right back on the other side. My name is Jake Lloyd. See you in a minute.
Survival Shield X2 enables healthy virus. You're interested in its well-being. You're interested in having a higher get your powerful Survival Shield X2 at InfoWarsStore.com. I like to consider, especially if you are a member of the NRA, do you really think these kids, these teenagers who spoke out after a shooting at their school are actors who are part of some kind of deep state left-wing conspiracy? Crisis actors is an organization
saying we believe he's not a crisis actor. We believe he's been given lines, and the other students have, because out of 4 students, you've got 3,000 others that weren't talked to, just like the fake CNN town hall. Off camera, that doesn't mean the shooting didn't happen.
Here's David Hogg, who can't remember his lines while being interviewed for television.
Because we have a lot of fire alarms, a lot of fire drills at the school. After we heard the first gunshot, we initially thought it was a drill. Actually, that was a bad choice.
It's okay, you're fine.
Actually, that was a bad choice because the janitor... Sorry.
It's okay. You're fine, David. You're fine.
Honestly, honestly, when I was going out, I was kind of in, I wasn't, hold on. When I was going out, I was in shock. I don't know how to put this in perspective. Okay. So most of my friends that made it out went into a bathroom in, I believe, in the same hallway as the shooter. Hold on. One of them went into the same bathroom, I believe, as the hallway shooter. He was in there at the same time, and he was in the bathroom, and he didn't know if he was going to live.
He's incredibly well-spoken. I know he's a student journalist at the school. He actually recorded interviews with some of his fellow students, with a girl named Isabel, during while they were in hiding, which I saw, which I just thought showed incredible presence of mind. And as somebody who, you know, is always looking for future journalists, he certainly seems to have that as a possible career ahead of him.
But unfortunately, there are some who not only aren't they supporting these children who just lived through a nightmare they'll never forget, there are some who are attacking them, who call them fake news, who call them fake students. They say they're crisis actors.
This is the attack on your free speech. And people are going, yeah, Alex, we know we're all getting kicked off Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're all getting censored. You know, help us. I know. It's thousands of sites. I can't even keep track of it. And there's no news coverage of the purge.
This kid, David Hogg, who's a student at the high school, he's being attacked. His father, who's an FBI agent, is being attacked by these conspiracy theorists who say he was coached for faking it.
Now, they rejected our appeal on the first strike, so we can't live stream on that channel. But they had frozen the entire channel as of the middle of the night last night, as of this morning, saying we bullied children.
You can't just sit there and let these scumbags spread these lies about these kids.
CNN came out and said, we're going to, and we have filed complaints against Alex Jones, and we're looking to shut him down for saying there were no real people at the shooting and it was all crisis actors and the shooting didn't happen. Now, they didn't show a quote, they didn't show a video, they just
Wow. That was fucking mad.
Funny byproducts. Anti-censorship marathon broadcast. We've had some good discussions here. I promised you a good 2 hours. We had a good 2 hours and beyond. We're going to see how long it goes. Jones will be coming up after me. We have received word on his way. Alex Jones is on the way. The man you're all waiting for. So we had some good discussion earlier. Then we got to talk to Dr. Jerome Corsi about censorship. We got to talk to Gerald Celente about the markets. Got some good callers too. We might go to more here in a few minutes. Now Harrison actually brought up a couple stories that are interesting. One, I mentioned the first one. I think we should probably talk out to ease into the other ones. This one's it's funny, but it's not funny. I talked about it a little bit earlier. There is a gorilla statue in a park in Corsicana, Texas. It's in a cave.
And it ain't over yet.
There was a gorilla statue in Corsicana, Texas. It was in a cage because that's generally where people keep gorillas. Because
if I had a gorilla, I'd keep it in a cage. I'll tell you that right now.
Generally, people keep gorillas in cages because they're extremely dangerous. They're very large. And there was some more.
The Argent Tower is destroyed. The portal can no longer be closed from this side. The hell energy flows from a location in their world we call the Well. But you've returned. The only flesh and blood to walk between dimensions. So there may be a way. Vega is trying to access Olivia's files. If you can get to the nearest terminal, we will provide you with information. That's all for now.
And another doll. Rage Guy. Oops.
Egg, and it just infuriates me. I mean, I'm the type of person that, like, if I get a phone call and a robot says hello to me, I just hang up. Like, if you're forcing me to talk to robots, yeah, I don't care what they're saying. They could be saving my life. I don't care. I'm not talking to a robot. You can't make me talk to robots.
Is it just like call the police when it sees?
Exactly. That's the thing. As far as I can tell, I mean, it has facial recognition. It has license plate scanning. As far as I can tell, it doesn't have any weapons yet. But used to this idea of having robots controlling and watching. Jurisdiction does this work?
Olivia has an artifact in her private lab that we've been studying for years. I believe you can use it to find the answers you seek. It bears your mark.
Olivia's personal laboratory is not part of the registered facilities database. Alpha-level clearance will be required to locate it. Granted.
Yes.
You can access her Lazarus facility from the north sector of the Advanced Research Complex, about 80 kilometers away.
80. I'll bring the tram power online to take you there, but you'll need a UAC corporate facilities clearance card to activate it. There is a security station nearby.
Be visible
Those who came before you and those with whom you serve all operate with the same goal in mind, the development of a new dawn for mankind. It is by this guiding principle, working together as a team, that we will elevate ourselves to the next plane of existence. Those who came before you and those with whom you serve all operate with the same goal in mind, the development of a new dawn for mankind. It is by this guiding principle, working together as a team, that we will elevate ourselves to the next plane of existence.
He's not playing the Democrats and many of the Republicans to try to repeat the outcome of that tax measure, then we're in real trouble. And that's why for several days, as you probably know, probably seen our email alerts, we are asking our members to double down. Oh boy.
Exactly. And I want to go back to some history, because those that don't know history don't repeat it. I want to give myself extra support in history. I was probably just support Ted Nugent so we can take control. And Ted said on the air that you and Gun Owners of America is what finally got them back on course 8-9 years ago, and they got more popular, and we brought things back. And then now there's the Republicans. They want to sound like they're reasonable. It's not about some Islamic gun deal went bad. Hostage rescue team told us what really happened. Now they admit there was a stand down, all this. Same thing here. We're not saying it's a false flag. We're not saying kids didn't die. That's all media lies. We're
people contacting the NRA and saying, please don't do this. This is not going to end well. When you start... really seeing the same thing, is enormous. It's a good thing that after
I've never had listeners looking like they're going to kick my ass just because
This is something that we've seen a couple of times
15
in the past.
seconds.
So now we do have
Fucking
adequate
hell.
server space, I think, because after Sandy Hook, it crashed 3 times. So we're getting an enormous number of
rhetorically it gives Aiden comfort. And you see, did you see the video of Feinstein? We'll roll that again in a moment. Looking like she is about to have an orgasm over this.
It really does look like
You can just, what does he need to do? Because I know he listens. I know the White House listens. He listens to Larry Pratt. You got the #1 lobby on Capitol Hill that actually is no compromise. You're the conscience of the NRA, Gun Owners of America. What does the president need to do?
Well, I hope gives him no way to get back. And he's going to be hearing such an outcry that may surprise him. Who knows? Who knows what people he listens to and who were telling him that this would be a slick move to unsettle the other side. Well, it's unsettled our side. What we like about him is that he's a fighter. But if he doesn't fight, and this is a time to fight, then he's going to be in a heap of trouble because we're going to be in a heap of trouble.
Like I said, I've never had listeners. Before he came with us up on Capitol Hill, thinks that we can win this, but we sure haven't won it yet. So this is the time to double down. Crises not quite as gargantuan as this. Even then, we have staffers telling us your email loud. And two countries that have got gun rights like we do, the U.S. and Switzerland. And this is a sacrament to the left to disarm us. They've got all the bodyguards. They've got all the weapons. Communists in South Africa are if they try to take the gun, 1776 will commence again, and Trump's got to know
the same thing. Yes, this is really a big deal. This could well set off the next American Civil War. We are
I'm too tired.
He's got to go with the Second Amendment. He's got to go with the First.
I'm going to call it a night, guys.
How do folks get your news alerts? How do they help Gun Owners of America? The true... I love the NRA's getting a lot of members.
I'll try that one.
You guys are the reason.
It's definitely doable.
The members are. How do we help you?
Go to gunowners.org. There's a big orange box right there on the front page when you get there. And you can click on there, give your name and address and email. We need the address because sometimes even a zip code doesn't tell you enough. You need to know exactly where somebody is on which side of the street.
To send them the proper alert.
Exactly. So,
absolutely. There's no spectators in a republic, so people need to go to Gunners of America right now.
Thanks, Alex.
Gunners.org. There goes Larry Craig. We're going to come back with Mike Cernovich and a lot more. I'm just going to say this very briefly. If you read the photos in a video we were shooting on a computer to try to light bodybuilders for a supplement ad. This is how crazy they are to try to shut us down, calling our president a rapist,
Catch you all tomorrow,
and
folks.
a racist and a Nazi with no proof.
Good night, Coop. Good night, Donna.
Now, there's
See you later.
That's supposedly the crime right there. I'm asking.